Hello, hello, and welcome to New World Aeternum Weekly, episode 24. 5 Blunderbus walk into the heart of madness. Today is March 27th, 2022, and I'm your host, Kai Zen. I am sipping on two things right now. I've got a Lucky Buddha beer from Lucky Drink Co. Productions, Enlightened Beer. And I also have from a friend of the show at 6 and 20. I've got a couple of bottles that just arrived today, and one of them here is this Carolina Cream, rum with natural cream flavor and bourbon whiskey. And it is so delicious. I am being a little bit of a heathen here. I'm just sipping right from the bottle, but it's delicious. I'm in Outpost Rush while I talk to you, so please excuse me if you hear me be a little bit distracted by murking fools and or getting murked by fools. But with us tonight, we have, of course, WOLFDRAGON, my XO, my number two. Say hello to the beautiful people and tell them what you're drinking.
Hello, everybody. I have some Devil's Backbone Vienna Lager because it is delicious, and my package from 6 and 20 is supposed to be in tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Hell yeah. I love the I've tried both the Carolina Cream and the Roja, and oh my God, are they delicious. Also, we have ARKHAVEN. Say hello to the beautiful people, Ark. Tell them what you're drinking.
Yo, what up? I'm drinking my 4th liter of box premium lager from somewhere in Scandinavia, I'm pretty sure.
Nice, nice. Very cool. Very cool. And we also have SWORDSMITH 75. Tell us what kind of homemade soda you're drinking today.
I am trying a little mixture of Diet Coke, of course, with orange, vanilla, and a pinch of cinnamon.
Very fancy schmancy. Nice, nice. Very cool. All right, so let's start off with what have we been doing this week in New World. As for me, as you all heard last week, my tank set was full straight 625 across the board with 0 exceptions. Now, my bruiser set is 625 across the board with 0 exceptions, and I'm starting to level alternate weapons to 625 because why not? At this point, I'm popping out over 4,000 umbrals a day, and there's no reason not to just fucking have some fun with it. And then I'm going to get to the point where I run out of shit to do with that, and I'm just going to bank 30 or 40,000 umbrals and then just chill and see where we go. I'm super, super excited for the shit to drop this week. And I've been having a lot of fun. We've been adding to the family, the squad. We've had some people that were on the server already that joined us. We've had some people that were in the squad long term, but like we've been helping them get caught up and they've hopped back into the game and they're now getting to end game stuff, specifically Nomad and Brittany, who like both of them, you know, we've gotten them attuned and whatever for like the Siren, and we've taken them through Siren for Siren kills. We're basically just formatting it with them. They, you know, they're like 54 or 52 or whatever, so they sort of die instantly, but whatever. We've been taking them through Laz, and it's like, it's hilarious, the different viewpoint of them who are basically just one-shotting everything in Laz coming in there as a level 53, and it's like, God, that is so different from the experience that everybody else had when you first got to Laz. But it's been fun, like bringing people into the family, and it's just been a good time. And as ever, I will put out the call. If you find yourself wanting to jump into New World, or you're on a dead server, or you just want different people to come hang out with, cross-server transfers are coming very, very soon. Sorry, cross-server transfers are already there. Cross-region transfers are coming very, very soon. And you can just come on over to North America East Pluto server, join the Marauder faction and come have fun with us. But that's what all I've been doing this week in New World. I've been having so much fun, and I'm super excited for Tuesday for the new patch. Wolf, what have you been doing in New World and whatnot?
I have been hanging out with you guys and getting through the citrine and sapphires from the siren runs or
Right.
whoever else we decide to beat up on in the dungeons.
Right.
And then taking some time to myself trying to max out all the gypsums I can. And today, with my dungeon Let's Go Killing set, I am now gear score 620 overall.
Nice.
That
Hoorah!
feels nice.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well done. Well done, you. And I think one of the things that I'm most excited for coming up on Tuesday is the fact that it will free up so many things for us. We're no longer a slave to the clock. It will make it such that I think we will be able to much more often, do church with you and Sword. Like, we can do stuff at later hours, do Outpost Rush, do other things, whatever, at different hours with you. And I think that'll just be so much fun that it'll free us up to do more things with our friends and not have to be sort of slaves to the clock. Like, okay, we got to do this at this hour because that's when it's opened up. Right on.
Certainly.
Ark, how about you? What you been doing this week in New World?
Yo, I've been basically just doing PvP, man, like 14, 15 OPRs a day. I've got my bruiser parked at 620 gear score, but I'm not gonna bring him up anymore because I'm already doing I've done a mutator 7, and no one really I'm with is running anything higher than that, so there's no necessity to bump it up higher than that for now. So now I'm starting to kind of get the gear together for my musket bow war build. So I'm starting to get the right gear, and then I'm going to start leveling that gear once I get the perfect setup put together.
Okay. Very cool. Sword, what you been doing this week?
Grinding umbrals. It's pretty basic and pretty simple. I've been grinding gypsum, turning them into umbrals, rinse, repeat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm up to 623 gear score on my raid set.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, it's super hard. You can get up to that 615, 620 in a blink, and then the last 5 is it's a slog, and it gets slower. That's the way averages work. It gets slower the higher up you get. I got to the point where it was I was at 624 for I don't know, a solid week and a half, because it was just it takes a full day to up each piece, and every last piece has to get to 625 before you go from 624 to 625. It's just, you're just stuck there for forever. So yeah.
Estimating 2 weeks.
Yeah, but getting it done and having fun, and you've been running shit with us, and yeah, okay. So there's a lot to get to. Obviously, the main point of the show today, as issued in the title there, we're excited for a couple of big things that are coming. The first is, the Blunderbus. We're super, super obviously excited for that. The second is the new dungeon and the quality of life changes that are coming to the game. How about we take a moment and just play a little video that highlights some stuff about this Blunderbus that we're so excited for. Let's do that, and we'll be right back after that.
A gun is a tool. When the job calls for carnage, the best tool is a blunderbuss. This bugger is short but stout. 2 shots in the barrel, a bullet spread that makes the concept of aiming seem antiquated. There are many ways to handle a blunderbuss, with 2 distinct styles to master. The first is containment, a series of techniques focused on positioning and crowd control. Net shot packs a punch and slows your enemies. Claw shot helps close the distance. Finish up the combination with an Azov shrapnel blast to dispatch even the most tenacious adversaries. Then there's the School of Chaos. Name speaks for itself. Splitting grenades blanket the battlefield with fire and brimstone. While the mortar charge lobs high explosive canisters that fly high, dive fast and boom big. Bad guys closing the distance too fast. Blast shot will help you put them back in their place. So when you need to clear a crowd and you want to get it done up close and personal, keep a blunderbuss at your side. But remember, it's not the tool that counts, it's how you wield it.
All right, so there you go. Good stuff. That was put out by the actual New World, team on their official website. It's a great little highlight of the blunderbuss, what it does, and some of the cool, interesting things that you can do with it. I'm super hyped for this weapon coming to the game. I think it's going to definitely. So first off, it was overly strong on launch, on launch of the PTR, on the March build. And then it has subsequently been nerfed. It has been adjusted down to sort of be more properly balanced. I think it is in a good place right now as far as its balance across the game, but I think that it will still make for an extremely strong meta when paired with the Warhammer specifically. You could make an argument for pairing it with the Great Axe as well, but I think that Blunderbuss Warhammer is going to be a massive sort of meta that's gonna be something to deal with. So I'm excited. I think it's neat. I think that it's in a good spot right now, and I think it is going to shake up the meta hardcore. I think you're also going to see, as we were talking about before the show, one of the big counters to the blunderbuss is the musket. And I think you're going to actually see, as everybody and their mom is running around with the blunderbuss, you're going to see an anti-meta or an alternative meta sort of develop that is strongly leaning on, muskets. So your musket bow, your musket rapier, whatever. I think you're going to see a lot of that come up to sort of take advantage of the fact that if everybody's running, it's just the same thing as with, whatever, Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or whatever the hell. If everybody's running A and you have a good counter to A, that makes you very, very strong, even if it wouldn't be in general overpowered in and of itself. Those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear from you guys. Hop on in.
I love the fact that they keep adding new stuff in, tweaking stuff around and whatnot, and it's just resulting in this absolute arms race that we have in the game where we'll come up with a meta and then the meta has to shift, and it's forcing a process of, okay, now what, try this, that didn't work, try that, okay, here's something good, and then all these different counter things, to varying degrees of capability show up and whatnot. And it's just all good because it means that everybody's going to be running something, and you might not have the counter for that, but you might have the counter for something else.
Right on.
Agreed. I really think that the introduction of the blunderbuss is going to push the musket further into the back line, force the Rangers with the bow and the muskets to utilize their ranged advantage over this new AoE ranged weapon.
Ark?
Yeah, I'll speak on behalf just in terms of wars. When you get a weapon that does a just ridiculous amount of AoE, and just hard hitting AoE, you end up changing, kind of like the layout of how wars are fought. One of the biggest things in PvP right now that you see is clumps. Everyone's always talking about clumps, right? You're getting clumps, and you drop a gravity well, you do, a shock wave, you stun everybody, you just basically AoE everyone down. Clumps are the worst thing ever, but people do it all the time. I think what the Blunderbus is going to do is going to change the way you play wars, holding points, or even OPR or zerging, because it's going to break up the zergatry. You're not going to be able to zerg, or you're just going to get freaking annihilated. And I like that. I think that's it's a really good change of pace, and I think it's going to give a whole new sort of philosophy, if you will, to how you have to engage in the wars, which is a good thing.
I also want to take a moment to just call out how much I love this video. I love the game producers putting out this cool little, it wasn't like a hour long, like, oh, here's a let's play and blah, blah, blah. It was bite sized, but it also had a feel like the music with it and the sort of the way that it was presented. It sounded like basically it was Jason Statham talking about, like, a heist job, and he's like, when you need to get in, you got the right tool for the job, and then you gotta blow them into the face and blah blah blah. And it was like, fuck yeah, that's got a cool, fun, hip kind of feel to it. I dig it. What do you guys think about the way they're putting out these and kind of continuing to put out their content, these little videos in these cool, catchy little things?
I love the energy with it. It was like, okay, we're gonna watch a thing. It's like, oh, I want to watch this because it's like, it's a highlight reel, it's a discussion clip, it's all the good things in one. For here's new shit, we like it, and we're gonna think you're gonna like it too. It's like, yes, I want it. I wish it was Tuesday.
Hell yeah,
make it happen now.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, so like, look, here's the deal. I've said this about Star Citizen in the past. When you have a game, right, and you have control of the game, like, in Star Citizen you have the cinematic modes where you can like, regular people can do a lot of stuff with like machinima and stuff like that. But when you own the game like they do, and you have these beautiful characters and beautiful environments and everything else, you can do that shit on your own. And that's easy fucking marketing. It's easy to take that and make really cool videos with it. And like, this is them doing just that, making a cool sort of commercial with the game engine that shows you exactly what you're into, because the first thing you ask when you watch a commercial of a game and it's like a movie, you're like, well, is that the game? This is the game that they're showing in this stuff. And so that's great. I mean, I think it's a great use of the tools that they already have like on hand. They don't have to like pay someone extra to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully they just continue to do that. It becomes a sort of theme. Every time we get some new stuff, we can expect to see it, in game, just like in that kind of commercial format. So I think that's great.
Hell yeah. I mean, they did one also not that long ago. They did one for Valentine's Day, and it was this weird, like, get away together, just you and your couple, kill some zombies. It's fun. And it's like, all right, I like it. I dig it. I like their energy. I like their style. They have a very, very cool style about this.
I dug that too, by the way. I know there's some other people who were like, oh, I don't know, but I dug that, man. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was neat.
It's funny and not not overly serious. And I get that some people are like, hey man, stay to the game, pay more attention, let's not be silly. And it's like, they're doing both. And I like both. So yeah, big fan. All right, let's talk about, does anybody have anything else they want to get into on the Blunderbus? We talked about the introduction of it. We've talked about the little video that accompanied it. And you got anything else on the Blunderbus before we move on? Last thing I'm going to say on the Blunderbus is this. There's a lot of stuff coming on Tuesday where you might want to be spending some of your faction tokens. So now's a good time to build up your faction tokens because, number one, the Blunderbus is going to be out. And, obviously a week or two down the road, the meta will evolve and we'll know, like, okay, on the loot tables of existing dungeons or whatever been adjusted, and now the Lazarus or the new Heart of Darkness, Madness, whatever, drops the best blunderbuss or whatever. And of course, everybody then will go after that and run for it and get it 590 plus, spend a couple umbrals and legendary that shit out and whatever. But in the meantime, day one blunderbuss, your options for a decent blunderbuss are going to be, number one, get it with faction tokens, or number two, go to the auction house and pay some, times 10, times 20 overly inflated shit price for like, hey man, here's a 583 blunderbuss with some halfway decent, stats on it, and they only want $240,000 for it. It's like, nah, fuck all that. I'll take a blunderbuss that's 5% less good that costs me, faction tokens. I'll start off with that, and I'll wait a week or two for the meta to settle, and then we'll know, hey man, run Laz in, whatever, the Chartist drops the best blunderbuss, or this one drops, or that one drops, or it is crafting, but here's what you want to get to. I'll let other people, because it's like everything else. When you want to be the first guy to have the new home stereo system, or the first guy to have the new, I got the fucking 98-inch fuck off, 80,000K TV. It's like always like that TV. If you buy it when it first comes out, it's like, oh, that's $12,000. That same TV you can get at Best Buy in 2 years for like $600. Like, I'm good. I'll let somebody else pay this stupid fuck off. I'm first price. I will just get it with the faction tokens, and then 2 weeks later, I'll run and get it for cheap. You guys have any specific plans for? Obviously, let's talk about this. Let's bring this into the conversation. They're doing a double XP weekend coming up next weekend. So you will get double XP for leveling if you have an alt or whatever you want to level, but you will also get double weapon XP for the blunderbuss, so you can go out there and do it. I'm going to have my blunderbuss that I will be using for when we go to do church, when we go to do Topaz and Obsidian. I'll be leveling it there. And then anything that I'm missing shy of 20 during the double XP weekend, I will for sure be just going and just grinding that shit out. I have every weapon in the game to 20. There's no reason I'm not going to have the blunderbuss as well. So those are all of my plans with regard to the blunderbuss when it gets released. I will definitely use it to level it up to 20, and I think at that point I'm good. I don't think I'm going to add that to my main rotation. Obviously, I tank in regular like dungeon mutator content. I tank with Sword and Shield and Warhammer. That's a good setup for me. In PvP and for other open world content, I bruiser, and for PvP, I'll go a lot of times Great Axe, Warhammer. In open world, like solo content, I'll go a lot of Great Axe / Warhammer, and then for my second hand, I'll use the hatchet just for the slightly faster running ability and the sort of self-heals. It's just the sustain is just so fucking good when you're doing trivial content and you don't have a healer with you. But those are my plans. I'm going to level it, but I'm not really intending to add it to my main go. What are your guys' plans? Let's start with Ark. What's your plans for when the blunderbuss comes out on Tuesday?
Oh, I don't know, man. I'm gonna level it for sure during the advantage, weekend to test it out, and I'm gonna try it out with my musket and see how I like it. And see how I like it with my musket. 300 dex, 150 int build, and see how it works.
Okay.
I end up using it with my bruiser build too. Just to test it out. I mean, you mentioned already the sort of attributes that you're gonna have with light. I think Great Axe is nice too, because if you can imagine you well people up and then you start laying down hell on them. So I think like I'm gonna look at CC high DPS for my strength builds, and I'm gonna look at using the CC of it to help me CC mixed AoE with my musket build to help me kind of survive better, because the bow survivability is reliant on evade shot. And I find that it doesn't really offer me much else other than that quick evade. I don't want to see if, maybe some of the CC of the Blunderbuss lets me both throw AoE down and, avoid getting fucking hemmed up by grab whales and stuff. So.
And do you have a specific blunderbuss in mind that you're like, oh, I'm gonna camp this dungeon for whatever? Are you gonna overpay at the auction house, or are you gonna just go the faction token route for a decent one? For starters.
That's a good question, man. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm typically more. I don't have my engineering maxed out, so like I'm typically more of a dude that kind of looks for the splurge steal, because I'll try to run some stuff that other people aren't running, like maybe some chain versus keen and keenly powered or something. I don't know. Well, we'll test it out with whatever freaking cheap one I can pick up first. You know what I mean? And then if I really like it and it becomes something that I feel like I'm gonna run in the long term, then I'll either max out my engineering or have a crafter I know help me do some stuff.
If only you knew somebody that had maxed engineering.
That had all 200 things of everything.
If you only knew. Oh wait, that's me. All right. Sword. What are your plans with regard to the Blunderbus?
I'll try it out and see how it fits into my rotation. Although at the moment, I don't think it's going to be tremendously useful in my regular use. Sorry, right now Wolf and I are scanning for a attacker in the PvP area.
And where are you going to get it? Are you going to go the faction route, or are you going to just be like, hey, I'll wait and see when I get random drops, I'll just get whatever seems decent, or are you going to what?
I'll probably go the faction route.
Okay.
Just to start off.
Nice and easy. Sword. Or not sword. Wolf. Your plans on the blunderbuss. You're a bruiser, so you're actually the ideal market for this thing.
Yeah, so I'm a strength and then dump everything else into con build. So this is definitely right up my alley. I have
just to be clear.
All the other...
Just to be clear, when you say strength and then dump everything else into con, you're saying 300 strength to start. So it's not like you're a some strength heavy con. You're a mostly strength build.
No, I'm full strength, and then whatever points I can spare go right to the health pool.
Yeah, you are the ideal target market for this weapon, I think.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how it goes. I've got all of the strength weapons. I've level 20'd them in their progressions. I believe at this point I have all the best in slots for them, but I don't think I've spent the time to, do the things to get them to 625 for all of them. Some of them are close. But yeah, this is definitely going to be I want to know how this works and see if it fits my play style. And if I can make it work, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it. I am gonna be a little interested to see if it still uses the same ammo that the musket uses.
It does.
Or they're gonna give something different.
It does. So basically, as stated with this new patch, ammo is free if you're willing to use the flint ammo. So you can just use it for free or just stock up on orichalcum.
True. Big true.
Oh yeah. All right. And where are you gonna get your starter? You're gonna go the faction token route, or you're gonna?
I'm gonna go the easy mode route and go the faction token route, because I highly doubt anything that I'm gonna pick up on the market is gonna be obtainable.
Okay.
I got some spare coin rolling around, but something tells me it's gonna be full ridiculous mode.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to play that. I'll get one that works, level it up, see if I like it. And if I do like it, we'll wait for the normal progression of, hey, go here, get this one. It's the one that's, covered in awesome sauce. And then go grab that one, level it up, get it to 625, and
I get it. So the other reason why that's good to start off with the faction token one is, presumably, we're all going to start with 515 weapon mastery for the blunderbuss, which means, doesn't matter how good the one you get is, you're kind of getting nerfed on it. The difference is, though, if you are a crafter and can craft your own close to 600, well, obviously then you get it at that immediately. If you're not, though, a crafter, it is still the case that quest drops and the faction PvP ones, you get them without any nerf. So day one, in the first 2 minutes, if you log out at standing at the faction vendor, you can instantly start off with a whatever 530 whatever blunderbuss, which is, like I said before, those weapons and gear might only be 530, but they're like a super stupid strong 530, as opposed to the faction set is a really, for other items of that level, they are way out of balance. They are way super strong compared to other items of that level range. Now, obviously, you will be able to get item level 600s that you can umbral up to 625s that'll blow them out of the water, but that's all stuff that takes time to work out, and money and some luck if you're crafting, and or just massive stupid fuck you amounts of money if you're using the auction house. So right on. So we mentioned that that's the new weapon that's coming. Let's take a moment to sort of look to the future. There is another new weapon that's coming that we know of from the roadmap from that we talked about on last week's show, and that new weapon is the greatsword, the two-handed greatsword. And that two-handed greatsword is they've said, so obviously people are, you would assume based on just that it's a big fuck off greatsword, that you're basically talking about sort of like another bruiser type strength based weapon, what have you. But they did say with regard to this two-handed greatsword that it is going to be a different weapon than all of the current existing weapons, because it is going to have stances, which immediately to my mind brings up like World of Warcraft, like stance dancing type stuff, where it's like it's a two-handed weapon where if you're in the one stance, you're in tanking mode, and if you're in the other stance, you're in DPS mode. Or it could be, for all we know, it could be like a paladins, where it's like you got your ret pallies and your bubble pallies, and it's like maybe they'll make it some weird, like, this is what the hell. Okay, while playing Outpost Rush, I just accidentally tapped the type that hit the tab, and I'm not even joking. I accessed that new feature that's not supposed to be turned on till Tuesday, where I was still running while I had my inventory open. That's interesting. Breaking news live on the show. But yeah, like, with that new weapon that's coming, we don't know. We know that it's going to have stances. We don't know what that means. Are we dealing with, a tank/bruiser weapon? Are we dealing with a tank/healer weapon? Are we dealing with a bruiser/healer? Like I said, like a paladin, like a holy paladin. Like maybe you channel healing magics or something through your sword. Like, we don't know. But it's the fact that they said that it's going to be stance based. Again, brings in the fact that, they're adding in not just here's new weapons that follow all of the same existing rule sets, but like here's new rule sets to new weapons that make it interesting and different. What do you guys think about this, all of this that we've just talked about with the greatsword, and what are your hopes and fears for it? Let's start with Wolf this time and then move to Ark.
Well, it's definitely going to be something to look at. My only concern is that with the whole stances thing and whatnot, I like how I can just pick a weapon, go out, do things with it, use abilities and that kind of stuff. There's the mechanics with that are involved, which abilities do you have, which order do you use them in, what types of things do you use them on, blah blah blah. I don't want it to be something where you have to have much more mechanic and less more okay, now I'm gonna start attacking you. Like
Say explain that a little better. I'm not
so
up with what you're saying.
with the stances and whatnot, it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and if you have it so that you're split in what you're doing, you're gonna take this stance and then
Mm-hmm.
go on to this sort of offensive, and you take this stance and you go into this sort of offensive. I don't want it to get such that there's so much mechanic involved that you really have to keep track of what you're doing, rather than just playing and having fun.
I think that in a way it's similar to the Blunderbus, where you have two different sort of, not stances, but I would say trees that do very, very different things. One, I think, is, so the Blunderbus, I think, is the first one that sort of kind of introduces a general concept of this, where if you use it in the way of like the up close tree, then that's more about crowd control and up close stuff and mobility. If you use it in the chaos tree, then it's much more about staying at range and doing AoE damage. I think, however they're doing the greatsword, and we don't know what it's going to be yet, that's what we just said. However they do it, I think it will be, if you're doing stances, it's going to, I think, be pretty clear that it's like, it's going to be similar to that. It's going to be, it's not a matter of like, oh no, I don't know how to do this. It's going to be more like how you set for it up front. So like, I don't think that that'll be a problem. I think that'll just I think it'll just add more opportunities for interesting and unique different types of gameplay. Ark, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I know what Wolf's saying, but I'm gonna go with like the opposite of that. Like I think it's gonna have, like in WoW, I think there's some opportunity for higher skill cap with it, where it requires like kind of like the rapier or the musket. The better you are at managing these different stances, the more you'll be able to flex out of the weapon, and it's going to be harder ultimately to master. But it's going to be really rewarding in terms of those who can master it. And I really want that, because I'm not like a huge fan of sort of just mash buttons play. I think you see that a lot with the Warhammer Great Axe right now. Like I run a Warhammer Great Axe in fucking our end game stuff right now as well. Mainly because it's just like when we're doing the end game stuff, it gives our group the best chance of winning, because it's just pretty easy to do. I want to see more skill cap stuff. So I love swords, and I love fucking the medieval sort of feel of a two-handed sword. So I'm super stoked, and that will probably bring me back into strength melee play and away from the range stuff I've been playing around with recently. So I'm kind of stoked. I just hope it's not something that's just really. I hope there's some thought that goes into it, just like there has been with a lot of the, with the Blunderbus that it appears, and with the Void Gauntlet. I hope there's just some thought that goes into it.
While I agree with you, and while I love the Blunderbus, I think it's so neat. I think it's a cool addition. While I love that, I'm going to level it to 20, and then I'm unless I'm very, very surprised with how I feel about that, I'm not going to add that to my personal bruiser build. I just am not. I'm going to level it all the way up. I'm going to give it a good try, but I don't see myself going with that long term. The opposite is true of Greatsword. Greatsword, I very much see myself, and unless I'm surprised if it's what I think it's going to be, even remotely, I very much see myself being for tanking, being a sword and shield greatsword, for bruisering, being a Warhammer greatsword. Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, to have them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women. Like, I am all about that. So, yeah. Sword. Great axe, or great sword. Conan, what are you thinking?
A Dex player, while I like the inclusion of the great sword, I'm not sure that it's actually going to be that useful for me. I like the idea of stances. I hope this means they'll consider bringing back an actual parry sooner or later.
Okay.
But Yeah.
I see where you're going. I see where you're going. Good shit. Good shit. All right. And we also talked about today when I said, hey, there's reasons to build up your tokens right now. There's some other reasons to build up your tokens right now. And one of them is the new dungeon, the Heart of Madness. Now, this is the, whatchamacallit, the Tempest, what's her name? Isabella. Isabella, do the dishes. This is the Isabella dungeon where... So there's a couple things that I like about this dungeon. All right, first off, it is a new dungeon. New endgame content for this game. A big, big, huge plus. Number two, it has a mutator right off the bat. Huge plus. Super, super happy. Another thing. And I'm interested to see on Tuesday, because we're right now, Dynasty Shipyard is in the rotation. I'm interested to see on Tuesday, is the next dungeon going to be, last gen, or is the next mutator on Tuesday going to be like, boom, new dungeon, and right off the bat, it's the mutator. I'm stoked. I'm excited. I cannot wait to see. In addition to that, something that I love about this dungeon is it has, it legit has more mechanics than in other dungeons. It has more, it has these full-on story cutscenes where this game has always done phenomenal story, but the story has been you have to read the little pages. And let's be honest, a lot of people don't. And this story that they've got here is cutscenes, full-on, full-on, voice acted, amazing things that transition you from this place to another. It also has, and I'm not going to spoil it as to where exactly, but it has actual hidden stuff. There's hidden treasure boxes all around the dungeons that give you pieces to a thing that's like an extra key, and that key unlocks a bonus fight at the end where you can get extra good loot. I'm all about every bit of this dungeon. As the first post-release dungeon that they have put out, let me tell you something, people. They stepped up their game big on this dungeon. It has better visuals. It has full-on voice-acted cutscenes. It has bonus stuff to do. It's just, all of it is good. And I'm super excited to see where this is going. What do you guys think of this? How excited are you? And again, it's starting with a fucking, here's a mutator. Knock yourself out.
I definitely got to give them props for having a full-on cinematic set of cutscenes. The only real interest cinematics we had in the game thus far were when you land on the beach and you see Thorpe there. And then later on, there's a short one when you climb the hill and you get your first look at the Shattered Mountain. Man, those were pretty. And having that, I guess essentially come back and be added into the dungeon for telling you the story in there is just fantastic. There's been a lot of times where, I read the page, but we've done so many things since then that I've forgotten what it was. I mean, there was a moment there was wait, who is Isabella again? Oh, wait, it's her. This is going to be much more meaningful and longer lasting because it involves, more audio and visual aspects of storytelling, which for people like me, that sticks way better. And I know I'm not alone in that crowd.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Wolf, Sword, what do you think?
I'm looking forward to it. Apart from that, I never really read the story things, mainly because I was really trying to catch up with the rest of the crew at the time. So I am looking forward to the fact that there will be more emphasis to look into the story. I might have to go on the wiki to catch myself up.
Nice. Ark, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm stoked about it, man, because, I was just talking to you the other week about just seeing a game that has a little bit. I want to be involved in the story a little bit, and I feel like the reading, the way they did these notes and stuff like that, to me it seemed a little bit like there was a crunch for time, and they had a good story to tell, but do you get like this done versus this done in terms of development? And they just chose the story to be the thing that you had to you needed the player to work more for. I think cinematics, I think the commercial you talked about earlier, I think cinematics done with Machinima the same way, that should be the future for this game. And I'm thrilled. Like when the new zones open up, I don't want to just go into them to get my just to look around. I want to go into them for a purpose and be captivated by a story. And I'm hoping that's what this does.
Right on. Okay, so we've talked about all of that. Let's get into the quality of life changes that are coming in the patch on Tuesday. Like I said earlier, we're going to be free to just do the stuff whenever we want. It's going to be a daily reset every day at 5 a.m. local time for the server. So if you're in NA East, it'll be on Eastern Standard Time. If you're on NA West, it'll be on California time. 5 a.m. every day, everything resets. That makes it easier. There's going to be you only need one person at the door to open up the dungeon for people to get in. That's a huge plus. Everybody else can be board flipping to try to get your missions. You're going to get 5 times the amount of faction tokens for the first 3 bonus missions that you do every day. So, that's a huge plus. I'm psyched for all of these things. They're definitely more, you're going to be able to open your inventory while you're running around. That's a huge plus. I can't even, there's so many things where it's like, oh yeah, there's this, and there's this, and there's this, and there's this. What did I miss? I know I've definitely have missed stuff. What did I miss, guys?
Struggling to think of it. There's so much coming. We've seen the PTR notes evolve, so we've got a really good handle on what's coming for that. I'm hoping that that's not going to have any major translational issues going from the test server to the real one. But you know what they say, patch day going to be rough, but hopefully it won't be that bad.
I think April they're coming in with new what do you call it? Another round of bots.
Oh god,
bugs
that needs to happen.
So
Yes.
going forward, what they said with the roadmap where they showed the stuff, they were like, hey, we're basically going to do it to where it's like every second or third month in the cycle is going to be bots, balance, and bugs. And I think that I love what they're doing with regard to we're adding a new weapon every once in a while, but we're also, as we're doing that, we're taking times to continual, kind of what we just said is the meta is constantly shifting in this game, and they're doing something that I absolutely loved back in the day as an Eve player. Eve, I've played some games, and I'm not going to name names, but if you know me, you know what I'm talking about. I've played some games where the player base have been saying change this for years, and the company is just completely deaf to it. New World as a game, and Amazon Game Studios, because they now publish both New World and which was of their own making, and Lost Ark, which is made by Smilegate in Korea, but they are the publisher in Europe and basically the West for. With both games, I play both games. They have been very attentive. They've listened to what people had to say, and they have come in with a lot of oh, we tried this, we thought it would be great. You don't like it, we're going to change that. For another change, for example, and this is a change from the way that it was before, where it was much more of a survival type game. Now it's just all of your houses have double the storage chest area, and you can grab shit from any of the towns and move it. Doesn't matter who owns it, doesn't matter whatever, at no cost. That's another change that's coming on too. All of these changes, they're being very attentive to what we're saying we don't like, and they're adding in saying, okay, we'll fix that. I am going to go and grab a beer real quick. I'll be back in 2 seconds, but I want you guys to take over with let's start with Wolf, then go to Ark, then go to Sword. What are some changes that you want to see in the short and long term? Go Wolf.
Ooh, short term. We had that whole thing with Overwolf and the mini map, and that was really cool. And I don't necessarily think that we need the mini map per se, but as you've run around and you've found certain resource nodes out in the game, the big ones that I see all the time are where I can pick up herbs and the arcana stuff. It'll show up on your map, your regular map, and it'll stay there. I think it would be a great improvement if we had that in game with, displayable filters. Now, I don't want to be able to see where everything is. Make it so that you got to go and see it, and then it'll pop up. And then when you want to go look at your map and be like, okay, I need to go do this, that, and the other to get various resources, you don't have to alt-tab out of the game, go to New World, go to the New World map, and do the filter and search thing there. Just let me do it in game. That way I'm not dependent upon a third-party tool, because that seems to get a little on the lazy side of things. I'm not going to throw a name out for a game that is absolutely dependent upon that, but, that is what it is, and I'd like to see that not be the case here.
Both of us are throwing indirect shade at the same goddamn game. That's hilarious. I'm sorry. Just for everybody to know, I was listening the whole time, but I just, I don't want you guys, I got hardwood floors, and when I run downstairs to grab a beer, I don't want you guys to hear the like clunk, 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 clunk. So yeah. But that's hilarious. Wolf, what else you got?
That's
your big thing?
That's my big thing. I mean, I know you've got the thing with the loadouts. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting there, and that's going to be a very needed thing. But at least they're taking away the whole, if you weren't wearing it, it doesn't get hurt.
Yeah. That is another change that comes into effect. Another quality of life change that comes into effect in 2 days, which is, if it's not something gear that you have equipped and you die, you take no durability damage. So at this point, it seems to me like if you're doing church, I get it. Like you don't want to be screwed around with. You want to focus on getting your shit done quickly. Other than that, I kind of think there's no reason to not just be PvP flag 24/7 and whatever. Roll with it. It is what it is. Even if you're carrying 10 sets of gear, it doesn't fucking matter. Only the gear that you're wearing takes damage loss, so who cares? And they fixed the thing. Another thing that comes to mind, they fixed that weird bug we've been having for since the February patch of every time you log in, it just pins random quests and you have to go through and unpin them. That's fixed as well. I'm gonna jump in real quick on this and give my things. I definitely would like to say, and this is such a super little thing for them to fix. This is such a super little thing for them to do. If you're out in the open world and you open up the map, it should be the county map. It should be that kind of map that shows your, kind of the zoomed out area. If you're in a town and you open up the map, it should expand out to where it gives you the town map. And here's why, because when you're out in the world, you want to see the surrounding world. But when you're in town, what you want to see is, hey, where's the crafting? Where's the market board? Where's the storage boxes? Where's the stone cutting table? You want to see, when you're in a town and you click map, it's not because you want to see the world in general. 99.9% of the time, it's because you want to see, where is X service in this town? So I think that would be just a super simple thing for them to just contextually bring up a map at one scale when you're out in the open world, and a much more zoomed in scale when you're in a town. Obviously, what I've said about the loadouts, I would love to see loadouts in this game, 100%. Kind of riffing off of what Wolf just said, how about give us the ability to add and make it's local, it's on our local box, it's not taking up any storage space on the server. Give us the ability to make bookmarks on the map. There's the map. I make a bookmark. Here is my place that I like to go for ironwood trees. Here's my place that I like to go for hemp. Here's my place that I like to go for, you know, I don't know, anything. I go here for Azoth water, whatever. Let me just make my own bookmarks. Let me save it in a local folder so it's not taking up any space at all from the game. But when I pull up the map, it adds a filter layer of my local bookmarks folder, and I can just, boom, there they are. And, you know, you can pin it, and then, okay, I'll run to that. These are some things that I would really, really like to see. With regard to, I would love to see more Outpost Rush type modes. I think that's coming. I think that's very, very clearly coming. Again, another thing that's coming on Tuesday is from the map, you can literally just queue for wars and Outpost Rush and whatever. That's huge. I think that's good. And it's the way that it does it. It says modes. So it's more, you wouldn't say modes if it's just one thing. It's multiple things. More things are coming, clearly. Obviously, continue with the dungeons, continue with new zones. Continue expanding the story stuff. This new cutscene and like voice acted and really good. It's like, yes, continue that. That is a home run. Do more of that. I love that. And I would like to see sort of more done with. I'm not a fan of the keys, and they've already said, New World has said, hey, we're going to get rid of the key system, or we're looking to get rid of the key system as a thing of needing to get into the dungeon, but rather making it a way to get to access bonus loots or better something. Okay, I can live with that. That's a good thing. I would like to see more done with the crafting and gathering stuff. I would like to see, you know, maybe once a day or twice a day or whatever. I would like to see fishing contests that grant, you know, whatever, some umbrals and some stuff. Another thing that is coming on Tuesday, they're adding in more random encounters on the roads and raffle bones and stinky and yetis and like more interesting, neat stuff there as you're leveling. That's huge, and I love that. Continue with that, please. But like, if you were to have a thing where you had, you know, fishing contests or even, you know, I don't know, some kind of a skinning contest or a harvesting or a wood cutting or a something for archers or musket users, some sort of a shooting contest or some sort of a whatever, I think that would be awesome. I would love to see pets added to the game, not as this is a thing that gives you like you know, like combat advantage, but more. And the way I think you could do this is, again, make it to where it just pretty much shows up on your thing. Like if I'm running around, if I'm a dude that's out there in the forest running around 24/7, give me a little doggy that runs around with me. Nobody else even needs to be able to see the doggy. It's fine. Who cares? Maybe only I could see my doggy. Who cares? Whatever. I'm cool with that. But like a little buddy that does nothing for combat. Nothing. But it's cute, and I can pay $10 to get it. And it'll pick loot up off the ground. Because that's just a fucking running around to click on the bags. That's just sort of meh. What, like that adds no meaningful gameplay. So let my little doggy run around, or maybe get a chicken, or maybe get a cat if you're a cat person, some fucking weirdo, or if, you know, a bird, or I got a little lizard, whatever. And I'll pay $10 on the store to fucking change my thing from everybody gets a chicken to start, a little chick. And you want to upgrade to a little cute little brown husky dog, all right, pay $10, whatever. I'll here, take my money. These are the things that I would like. Also, and this is a harder thing, but man, look into the crafting system in this game. The crafting system in this game is super, super unfun. You have to spend forever to level up your shit, tons of money, tons of whatever. Then you have to spend forever to farm up the money and or the trophies. And you have to spend forever to farm up all the gear to do this stuff. and you have to spend forever to go out and get Asmodeum and Phoenix Weave and Runic Leather and whatever. You have to bust your nuts for forever to be able to craft the top level stuff. And then it's still, because of the way the system is, it's still like a crapshoot where it's like, if you make 30 of them, you have a 50% chance of getting one that's decent. That's just not fun, man. Like, do something with that. Ark, what's on your list of things man, I feel like I went with a long list. What's your things that you'd like?
Yeah, dude, you get a ton of them, man. I mean, just to stick with your crafting bit, 100% agreed, man. Look, you need at minimal, put some new mat in there that lets you guarantee a freaking legendary. I mean, even when you have full everything, and you want to roll some gloves, for example. Ultimately, what you're trying to do, and with all the new perks, right? Like, there's new perks. Like, there's a new perk coming out, but this is something new that we haven't talked about yet. But there's a new perk coming out where essentially, if you dodge through some damage, you basically get another free dodge. So if you're a kiter, this is huge because it's another whole dodge you could get. But you're gonna juggle between freedom and resilience to get that there. So here's all the shit you need. You need to roll a 590 plus. You need to have 595 to 600 to even get a chance at legendary. You need a perk for your weapon loadout, right? You got 2 weapons, and ultimately that's at least 3 perks of your 5 gear pieces, because nobody wants those perks on a weapon. So you at least need 3 spaces. And in most cases, you need all 5, but you at least need 3 spaces at minimal. And then you're trying to get beyond that perk. You're trying to get this freedom and resilient piece, at least 3 resilient if you're running a 150 con, or if not, then you need 5 resilient, plus the freedom, at least 3 freedom to be able to get out of the second CC. But you can't get any of that shit. All you can guarantee is the attribute point and 1 perk, and then it's a dice roll, whatever the hell comes next. They got to do something with that, man, because it's funny, because if you watch, like in most companies, whenever they're doing gear things, they call it like Vegas. It's like Vegas crafting. Whenever everyone streams live, and you look at it, and some dude rolls thousands of golds worth of shit to maybe get, after 15, 20, 30 rolls, maybe get something that you needed. That's insane, especially how far, and as you already kind of talked about, how much effort it takes just to even get there in the first place. So definitely fix something with crafting so that you can have a I'm not saying that you get exact things every time, but that you have a better chance of getting the thing that you're looking for.
I would like to see them put it to where you can't leave it to where it's random on the roll what you get, right? But make it to where if you want these 3 perks on a fucking thing, you pick the 3 perks, and then if you roll high enough, if you roll it to where it's a high enough quality that you get 3 perks, then you get those 3 perks. But if you roll it less than high enough quality to get those 3 perks, well, then you get 1 and 2, or just 1, but you get them. Like, you should be able to pick what your sword or your axe or your shield is going to do, and then the randomness should be just, what's the quality? Is it high enough quality that you get that? So that if you put in all of the stuff for 3 perks, you might end up with, I only got 2 perks, but I rolled it at a 590. I can put Umbrals in, and it will unlock that 3rd perk, because that 3rd perk is saved on there, but it's just inactive. Like, you still have some randomness. Go ahead.
I think with that. I agree. I don't know that you could use the Umbrals and you get the 3rd perk, because then everyone would essentially. I mean, again, it all comes down to them trying to keep crafting alive, because in that regard we certainly would have all the stuff, but at least be able to put 2 selected things on there, because the legendary gives you 3. So I don't know, man. Whatever. They gotta figure that out, because that kind of sucks, and it's just, I feel like it's just another thing, another grindy thing that keeps you from getting the gear that you want. But anyway, they gotta fix that. They gotta fix Another thing you got to fix is there's a light. We talked about this earlier before the show. There's a sort of light gear meta right now. Everyone's in light gear. They one of the things I think they need to do is they need to adapt a system where strength, Constitution, for example. If you look at Constitution, let's look at Constitution attribute. You put Constitution in, and beyond you getting these milestones that essentially give you more damage reduction, you're also getting health across the board, right? Dexterity. When you're putting stuff in dexterity, you should also be getting some kind of support attribute to stamina. They got to figure out some way to do this, because and then, by the way, make stamina mean more. Make it so that stamina can break a CC, but once you go out of stamina completely, that it's more painful. Like you can't, maybe it's a longer reload to charge it up, or like in Elder Scrolls Online, the next time you're CC, you're just screwed. Then you can't break it. You're stuck in the CC because everyone's just going light to get the most damage, and it's the easiest iframe dodge. And then once you apply that with a CC lock, you're done. Like if you're a kiting build, if you're a build that doesn't have CCs, you're screwed. You're not gonna. There's no way out of it. So I think they got to do something. They have to rethink a little bit the way they do the light, medium, and heavy, the way they do the attribute points and what the attributes actually mean, so that there's it should be a hard decision on whether you go light, medium, or heavy. So that's basically the thing I'd like to see them fix. And then as a ranged guy, a guy that uses bow and musket for my war and for my PvP builds, the lag, they got to fix the servers. Beyond my typical cry is that they got to work out the trees a little bit so that every ability is meaningful, every ability matters. Forget about that. I'll just put that on ice for right now. They got to fix this lag situation, because there'll be dudes that I am dead on accurate hitting them in their body, in their head, everywhere else, and it just doesn't register at all, because where I'm shooting and where it looks like the dude is not where the game registers that dude to be.
So basically what you're getting is server lag causing positional desync.
Yes.
That's right. So I'm not able to see, like what I'm seeing isn't exactly where that player is. And so you got to fix that, especially if you want to have, ranged weaponry in the game. And by the way, that's been one of the things that's been the hardest thing for all MMOs to kind of do. That's why they have that hard tab target locking system in most games. I get it. It's hard to do, but hey, you took on this challenge. You touted this as being a game that could do it. So don't worry about shit else. I don't need a new weapon. I don't need a new anything. Fix that shit first.
Well, if there's a company that has the server power to do it, Amazon Game Studios, which is owned by Amazon, which owns Amazon Web Services, which basically provides the servers that the entire world, from video games to the CIA, run on. Yeah, that's one company that, yes, it's one of those things where it's like, look, you have no excuse. I get that it's hard, but you took on the challenge. I think you guys are a great company, and I think you guys are the guys that can do it. Now, go.
That's right. I mean, theoretically, for all the reasons you just mentioned, they should, quote unquote, should be able to do it, but they haven't. So they gotta fix that out first. I mean, and I think that's it. Just like you, I want all the other things. I want to see some more game modes. I want to see, I want to see the arenas come together. I want to see the Blunderbus come out. But ultimately, I think I really like the game already. I just need it to have a few small tweaks and oh man, I don't know. Like I feel like to your user interface stuff, like loadout, gear switching, and stuff like that. I feel like this is a double-edged sword, but I feel like Elder Scrolls Online and WoW and SWOTAR all allowed modders to make UI modifications without giving any player an actual advantage in game. And the modders are 20, 30, 50, whatever times your staff with enormous skill. And I feel like even if you just open that up for like a quarter, and then maybe ran some contest for the modder that has the best thing. You give them some payout, whatever. I feel like they could fix a shit ton of your loadout, your UI problems. Because the Elder Scrolls had a great modder. They created a loadout tool back in the day before they fixed it themselves that lets you just click button switch your whole loadouts, and it was out of combat. It didn't give you any advantage. It just was a nice, nice ease
Quality
of
of
life.
life. Yeah.
That's right. So I feel like modders in those games can fix these problems for you. Maybe, take a few steps back. But that said, these guys they're so early and they're probably trying to minimize the amount of, like, the last thing you want is some fools putting a bunch of modded games on there and mods on their game, and then it's now hindering or degrading the sort of consumer feedback that they were hoping to get from that guy about just performance and stuff like that. So I could see why maybe they're not doing it, because of the kind of game this is, and it's very nuanced, and they need all the positive feedback with the least amount of sort of outside variables screwing that up.
I mean, that's a good
But-
point. This is a brand new game, and there is definitely something to be said for, yeah, maybe you let them go year one on their own, and then somewhere in year two, or in the the build up to year two, you bring in some of those other things. Like, that is an excellent issue of, like, hey man, they're doing a lot of stuff, and they're doing it pretty fucking well right now. And there's room for, down the line, expansion of stuff. People are like, well, I want 8 other modes. I want new cities. I want 4 new maps. I want boats. I want mounts. I want this. I want that. And it's like, people, I think, make a unfair comparison for Lost Ark to New World, and they're like, well, New World's been out for 6 months. Lost Ark just launched a month ago, and Lost Ark already has all these things. And it's like, look, I love Lost Ark. I'm not talking any shit on Lost Ark. I think Smilegate is great. I think Lost Ark is fantastic. I am a fan of Lost Ark. I am a player of Lost Ark. But Lost Ark is not a fair comparison to New World. Lost Ark has been out for 7 fucking years in Korea. It's been out for 5 years in Russia. And yes, it just dropped in the West not that long ago. And as a result, you have a situation where you have a team that, number one, Lost Ark dropped, and there were literally people threatening to sue. It was down to like 8,000 players at one point when it first dropped. It was an absolute shit show when it first dropped, as many MMOs are now, as New World was to a certain extent upon, the original launch. And Smilegate, to their credit, iterated, fixed, and moved on, and have developed a phenomenal product over years of iteration and fixing stuff and adding content and whatever. And then they had an opportunity to test what it's like to port that from one player base to another with the Russian release. That was also years ago. So now you're talking about a team who released a game that had lots of problems, did a phenomenal job of fixing those problems, then years later released it to a whole other market and had a lot of problems with exporting it and making stuff run right, and did a phenomenal job of cleaning that up. And now this is their 3rd iteration of porting it, and even then they've had some problems. There's been some issues where people are like, you release the content at too quick of a rate, and now it makes basically for a pay-to-win whale system where certain people have an inordinate amount of pressure to pay for upgrades so that they can feel like they're able to challenge the top level content on release. And they're learning from that, and they're doing a phenomenal job. Again, Amazon Game Studios as the publisher, Smilegate as the creator, they're doing a phenomenal job. But when you compare a truly brand new game from a brand new team to a game that's been out for more than half a decade on one platform and 4 years or whatever, 3 years on another platform, like, man, they've had, like, you're comparing a brand new product to something that's already hit its stride. Every MMO that drops is weak on drop. Every MMO. In general, when you talk about an MMO hitting its sweet spot, if it's good, if the developers are good, it hits its sweet spot maybe 4 or 5 years in. This is not that game. This is the early days. So maybe, as Ark was saying, to bring it back to his point, maybe there's a situation where they do have a thriving, third-party API access system where people are making all kinds of mods in a year or two. Where we're at right now, though, I think is pretty fucking great for a brand new release. Sword, what do you want?
So I'll make this short and quick and to the point. First, I will say I would like to see more open world PvP and PvE events like we discussed in last week's show. We don't have to go back over them again. I think we can go back and say, listen to last week's show. It's a good reference.
Okay.
And second, I've said this before, I want to see a parry. Not just the riposte for the rapier, but an actual parry implemented in this game. I think would greatly improve the quality of PvP.
It would be interesting. It would definitely change things. I don't know if it would be better or worse, but it would definitely be a change. Cool. Interesting. All right. Last topic. Well, okay, 2 quick topics. The one, I'm just not really a topic. I'm just going to announce it real quick in 2 seconds. I remember last week I said, hey, the show is coming to a podcast-only format as well. It is up right now. Last week's episode is up on Anchor FM. This week's episode will be up on Anchor FM. They are also both available. Well, I mean, we're recording it live now, so it's going to take me. It'll be tomorrow before it gets up. But they're available on Anchor.fm. They're also available on Spotify. They are not available yet on Apple and Google and all of the other whatevers because you have to go through this fucking weird verification process or whatever. I've created the stuff and I'm starting the verification process, but we're completely at their whim how long it takes. But the first episode is up right now for you to get on Spotify and on Anchor FM, and will be available on all of the others as soon as they go through their process and whatever. And the second episode, this episode that you're hearing right now, which is episode 25 of the show, will be available tomorrow on Anchor and Spotify. And it's the same thing with the other ones like Google Podcast and Apple iTunes and all of that. Whenever they say it's okay, it's just a dumb process where you wait. And sometimes you wait 2 days and sometimes you wait 2 months, and there's nothing you can do to make it go any faster at all. I don't know. But those of you who are listening to this on podcast form for the first time because you were just like, hey, I listened to this podcast and they said, hey, there's another New World podcast. Hey, welcome to the show. We have 25 episodes going back. This has been called for a while New World Aeternum Weekly. Before that, it was called Zero Prep Show, where we talked about mostly New World, but we also talked about some other stuff that whatever we thought was cool. TV shows and movies and books and whatnot. But for a while now, this has been a only dedicated to New World show 100%. You can find all of our previous episodes on YouTube under the channel Black Sky Legion. BlackSkyLegion. Black Sky Legion on YouTube. And we have 2 shows that you will find there. The Friday night show, which is all about space games and space books and space TV shows and whatnot. And this is the Sunday show, which is all about New World. So feel free to go back and listen to all of our previous episodes of that show. There's 25-ish of them. And, whatever. And then, like I said, going forward, you will find us on all of the places where podcasts are. We want to help to grow the community, grow interest in the game. We love this game. We are just massive fans of the game. We love it. We're here for the long run. So we hope that you will take this ride with us. And the last topic of the night that I have at least is There was an announcement on Friday. The president of Amazon Games Studio Division, which is a division of Amazon, the company, stepped down. He said, I'm stepping down to spend time with my family. I'm going to go, do that stuff. There's been all sorts of speculation with regard to like, did he quit before he got fired? Did he this? Did he that? And I think like a lot of that, I just want to address it because we're in the community. We're in the New World community. And some people are like, good riddance, this game, blah, 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 and that guy, and there are some people that are like, no, man, oh my God, whatever. I think this person deserves the respect and deserves, I think anyone in that position deserves it. Like, I don't know the guy. If I knew the guy and he was an asshole and doing stuff, and some people have said like, he doesn't know anything because he was just the head of the book division, and then they moved him over to the game division because they were like, well, you did great managing selling books, so maybe you'll do great with this other thing. And like that was, he was whatever. I think that's really disrespectful. I don't know the guy. If I knew him and I had some context to give of like, oh, he's great or he's not, I would. But I think to the extent that it's become sort of popular and whatever to shit on New World, I think people are taking this as an opportunity to be like, see, we were right. And I disagree a little because I feel like show me one MMO, any one MMO that launched, was a huge success and had a massive hype cycle that didn't then immediately get shit on 3 to 6 months later. I think all MMOs, as I just said earlier in this show, they start weak. You start off at your sort of weakest point because you have the minimal amount of shit to actually do and whatever, and you just have to build your shit up. Every MMO starts out that way. I think a good MMO hits its stride at like year 4-ish. And that's only if it's good. Like lots of MMOs don't make it that far, and or like 4 years in, they're still haven't done stuff. They haven't iterated. This company, this game specifically, New World, has so very clearly launched with a really good amount of stuff at first, but really low when compared to other games, but has had, and they have, let's be honest, they have had a lot of problems. But holy shit, have they done a really good job of iterating, fixing, listening to what is wrong, getting things right. Now, yes, I think at first, let's be honest, when the game first dropped, they were releasing shit a little too fast. And as a result, there was lots of bugs and weird problems and whatever. I think they're learning from that. If you see the roadmap that they have going forward, they've slowed down the content drop rate to the extent of like, it's not going to be new stuff every month. It's going to be, new stuff every quarter. And like new big, when I say new stuff, I don't mean, no new stuff every, like, yeah, there's going to be new stuff pretty much every month, but it's going to be like smaller things. It's going to be every quarter. You've got a big marquee. Here's a new dungeon. Here's a new weapon. Here's a new zone. Here's new whatever. And then in the intervening, 2 months of that quarter, you're going to be like, well, this one is a lot of quality of life changes. And this one is going to be balance and bugs and bots or whatever. And I think that they've done a really good job of learning and whatever. So just because I've seen multiple content creators, I've seen multiple videos that are out now that you can see where people are like, this guy's stepping down, see, whatever. And it's like, I think honestly, that's disrespectful to that person. I don't know the man. I don't know what his decisions were. I don't know whatever. And also that's disrespectful to the whole company who, when you call New World, if you say, well, see, this is a shit show and this guy's firing proves it, it's like, I disagree with the premise of your statement. I see that it's a brand new game and it did get the hype. It did. And I think, honestly, that's a great thing for a company, but it's a double-edged sword because it really, if you get the hype, every game, if you get the hype, you know you're 3 to 6 months away at best from getting the smackdown, because it's a hype-hate cycle. You can't have one without the other. So some games drop and they're sort of just unnoticed. And I think in a way those might be the luckier of the games, because they get through their fledgling sort of first year sort of unnoticed. And if people don't really notice them until year 2 when they're adding in all kinds of features and it's like, oh wow, this has a decent amount of stuff, I think that's almost maybe the better way to go. But like, that's not on them. That's not New World's fault. That's not Amazon's fault. They put out a product. I think it was a good product. I think it had a lot of work still, even when it was released, to be done. And I think that they have done and are doing, continuing to do a great job going forward. So that's that. I just wanted to sort of address that. Let's see what you guys think about that. Ark?
Yeah, I didn't hear much about it, so I can't really speak on behalf of that dude, but I mean, the game's, just to sum it real quickly, the game's doing fine. I mean, it's, again, we're judging this game on the compared to games that have been around for a decade or more. So I think the game's doing fine. I think they constantly, the good sign that they're doing well is that they listen to the community and listen to what everyone's saying, and as long as they keep that up, I don't think you're gonna have any problems whatsoever.
Sword.
Again, I'm the same way as Ark. I didn't hear about this earlier, and honestly, people step down from positions, people take up new positions, and everybody will just say the exact same thing: I'm stepping down for family, regardless of what actually happened. So I don't think speculation is productive at this point in time.
Wolf.
I think that the speculation is completely unwarranted, going off of, following up with what Sword said. And I think the biggest problem, quote unquote, that Amazon has with Amazon Game Studios is that first word in their name. And people love to shit on the giant corporation. It doesn't matter what the giant corporation is. It's gonna attract people who they're just haters that want to hate because they're gonna hate, regardless of anything whatsoever. The game is awesome. It's very playable. Yeah, it's got some issues. They've been working through them. They've made leaps and bounds of improvements in certain aspects that were really broke, and they're getting other things that are down in the nitty-gritty details sorted, and those are harder and they take more time, but they are working on them, and we do see that they are working on them.
Yeah.
You can't complain. It's fun to play. It's an objectively beautiful game. There's lots to do, and there's more coming. What more could you want?
Hell yeah.
If we really want to shit on Amazon Game Studios,
Which we don't.
Let's just pull the dictator route and make fun of the shape of their rocket.
Yeah.
God.
No. So Amazon Game Studios is not Jeff Bezos. And Amazon Game Studios, to your point, I think that's an excellent insight, Wolf, that it is fashionable to shit on Amazon no matter what. I'll give you an example. When Amazon Game Studios first dropped this game, I heard from someone, I forgot who it was a content creator, and they made a joke, and I chuckled. The joke was funny, but literally the joke was, Amazon Game Studios, Amazon and an MMO. This is a match made in heaven, because Amazon employees piss in bottles and so do MMO players. And I chuckled. It was funny, but I think you're exactly right. That comes down to the mean-spirited aspect of that joke, or of a lot of people's, I think, whatever, is like, yeah, man, fuck Jeff Bezos. And here's my thing. I don't know Jeff Bezos. Whatever. You could say like, hey, as a society, we shouldn't have people that have 8,000 times the amount of money as most American families, or 100,000 times, or whatever. You can make. This isn't a political show. We don't get into politics. But here's what I know about Jeff Bezos. Number one, he makes the company, or he started the company where I buy half my shit from. I don't like going out into the world and buying shit. I'd much rather have it delivered to my door. So for that, I fucking love the man. Number two, he saved The Expanse. Go fuck yourself. I don't care what you think about him or his politics. I don't know the man. I don't give a fuck about politics. I do not pay any attention to that bullshit. He saved The Expanse. I love The Expanse. For that, I love the man. And he put out New World, which is a game that I love, or his company did, and for that I fucking love the man. Now, if maybe the guy's an absolute dick in real life, maybe the guy's a saint in real life. I don't know him, and I don't care. I love New World. I love The Expanse. I love that people are making shit that goes into space. So I don't care about all the rest of it, but I'm in the minority. I think everybody else does want to shit on the Jeff, and everybody does want to shit on the Amazon. And I don't know, man. We live in a weird fucking hater society. I don't have time for that shit. I'm just trying to. I don't worry about what everybody else has on their plate, man. I'm just trying to take care of my job, come home, drink a beer, and play a fucking video game. And I'm down for this. All right. Closing thoughts from everybody, then we're wrapping this show up. Let's start with Ark. Go. Closing thoughts and or say goodnight to the beautiful people.
Yo, New World's about to change next week. I'm excited, stoked to see you all in Aeternum. Ciao.
Sword.
The subject of the Blunderbus, in the immortal words of Susan Ivanova, no boom today, boom tomorrow. There's always boom tomorrow.
Wolf.
Check the doors and corners. That's where they're going to get you, kid.
That's where they fucking get you, kid. Those doors and corners. This show has been brought to you by the Dragon's Milk that I'm enjoying right now and the 6 and 20 Carolina Cream that I'm also enjoying right now. Go and enjoy your life and play some video games. And if you like this one, great. And if you don't like this one, that's okay. Go find another one that you like. I'm not trying to convince you. But this one, I like. So that's how that is. We love you. Bye. Oh, wrong song.